Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for our e-Gurukula sessions. And today is a Wednesday. We have Krishna Lila discussions. Right. So, how many of you know there are 9 processes of devotional service? What are those 9 processes of devotional service? It starts with
Hearing.
Shravanam. Yeah, right. Hariram Prabhu, you are Shravanam.
Vishnu Smaranam, Adi Sevanam, Arsanam, Vandanam, Dasyam.
And then Sakhyam, and then
Sakhyam is also there, Prabhu.
Yeah, Sakhyam also, yeah. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. The basic starts with Shravanam, hearing. If you don't hear, then we'll not be able to do Kirtan. Kirtan means what? What is the English meaning for the word Kirtan?
Speaking.
Speaking or something more precise. Yeah, speaking is also, that is a good word. But
Chanting the glories of Lord.
That's called as a glorification. Yeah, speaking the glories of the Lord. Yeah, glorification. Right. So glorification. So if you don't know only by hearing in a right source, then how can we have how we'll be able to glorify the somebody? Like, let's say, I want to say about Hariram Prabhu or Divyesh Prabhu or any one of you about how nice you are, doing nicely. If I don't know only about you, then how can I say something good for you, about you? Right. So Shravanam is very, very important. First comes hearing, then Kirtanam. Then what is the third stage? Third point? Third one?
Vishnu Smaranam.
Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam. So when our Shravanam and Kirtanam is very nice, then Smaranam will also become very, very nice. Remembrance. So if the Smaranam is not happening, that means we're not doing Shravanam and Kirtanam properly. This is a check. Right. Like, let's say Smaranam means what? What is the meaning for Smaranam in English? Remembrance. Yeah, remembering. So how you know how you sit for your studies, right? You do your school studies. If I'm not able to remember, means what? I don't know the concepts properly, or I have not revised properly sufficiently, or I have not given a proper presentation on that yet. That's why I'm not able to remember the things. So you're getting the point. So Shravanam is the most important. That's why Prabhupada said Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, every day. As we put food for the body every day, food and water and sleep and things, same way for the soul also we need food and water, bread and butter. That is Krishna consciousness. Then we'll be able to really glorify the Lord. Then we'll be able to offer prayers because we heard the greatness of the Lord. And then when we are able to offer prayers and all, then it will Smaranam. And why Smaranam is important in our life? Now come to the important point. Why Smaranam is important in our life? What happens at the time of...
Because of the law of last thought.
Yes. Yeah, what you're saying, Hariram, let us hear from Prabhu. Yeah. Yes, correct. We'll be able to remember Krishna. Then with that thought, with that Smaranam, we'll go to the spiritual world. We'll go back to God. So are you all understanding? So to go from this place to the spiritual world, the Google map is what? Not Google map, spiritual map, scriptural maps. Shravanam is the basic. And then Smarana, Shravanam, then Kirtanam. We should not only hear, but then we try to speak also, so that we'll be able to make our concepts very nice, understanding very clear, right? Our conviction will increase more. Then we'll be able to remember. Even in the dead of night, we got up and then said, okay, Krishna book, what is it? What are the chapters? Who are this boy? Who is this boy? What happened to that? And things, all things we'll be able to remember. So that's what it's important. So this is the official schedule for coming for e-Gurukula session. But apart from that also, if you have time and energy, surely all of you should personally with the home or members or things, as much as try to read and learn. It will make us very, very good impact in our lives. That was a point today. His guest Rasham presented us. Very, very amazing. Okay, so let us begin with the prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So who remembers what's going on in Krishna book reading? Remembrance. What's going on in Krishna book reading?
Uddhava started giving the message to the
Prabhuji, Uddhava.
Yeah.
Prabhu
Good.
means we discussed that Radharani, she was thinking bumblebee to the messenger, Prabhu.
Yeah, we started that? No, na? I mean, we'll not yet read.
Yeah, Prabhu, we have to start from there, Prabhu.
Yeah, we have to start from there. Yeah, good, very nice. Good, all of you have a good smarana. Yeah, so we'll not go through those details because that need a very good, I mean, I'm not a good teacher personally. And at the same time, these topics are very, very high level. So we'll just go a little ahead and then we'll just see what Uddhava feels. Yeah, from here we'll read, okay? Uddhava, you all are able to see on the screen, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay.
Prabhuji, we were in the previous para, Prabhuji.
Yeah, we'll start from here because previous paras are a little bit, we will read them later. Once we complete some important sections, then we'll come back to those paragraphs, okay? So we're reading from the book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the chapter 47, continuation of that, delivery of the message of Krishna to the Gopis. So Uddhava was standing near and he heard Radharani talking in this way, as if she had become almost mad for Krishna. So the Uddhava came to give the message to the Gopis, and then all the Gopis, and especially Radharani, who is the topmost of all the Gopis. So she was narrating the details. So Uddhava was really stunned, seeing how much they have attraction for Krishna. Right. So let's see how he presents. He was exceedingly surprised at how the Gopis were accustomed to thinking of Krishna constantly in the topmost ecstasy of Mahabhav love. So anyone knows where this word comes, Mahabhav? Where this word comes, Mahabhav? In which sequence it comes? there is a stages, and then one of the step is the Mahabhava.
In the attraction to Krishna, the topmost stage.
Okay, that's a good correct. But how it start? What are the stages? These are the levels. How the sadhaka goes from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Sorry.
भाव अपभाव पदभाव ये सब उमा महाभाव महापदभाव
Yeah, anyone knows? It starts with the faith. Now, anyone remember? First stage starts with the faith. Yeah, anyone knows? Anyone heard of that? We have 9 stages of devotional service. Like that, there are progress of devotional service also. First is called as Ado Shraddha. First one should have a faith. Oh yes, if I just associate with the devotees, learn Krishna consciousness, I'll surely become better in my life. I need Krishna consciousness, faith. Then with that faith, next stage is what? Anyone remember? Ado Shraddha. The next is called as the Sadhu Sangha. Then with that faith, we come in the association of devotees. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha. Then it comes Bhajana Kriya. Then we start chanting, then we start hearing, then we start learning. That's called as Bhajana Kriya, activity of doing bhajan. Okay. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. Then comes Nishtha. Then that faith becomes rock solidified. Nothing can shake us. No problem, whatever difficulties. Sorry, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivrutti. Sorry. Before Nishtha, there is Anartha Nivrutti. What is meaning by word Anartha? Anartha Nivrutti.
Bad
habits.
Yeah, bad habits. All our bad habits becomes cleansed. Why? Because we do Bhajana Kriya. With the faith in the association of devotees, when do Bhajana Kriya, then all anarthas, they start getting cleansed one by one. Then Nishtha, then that faith becomes rock solidified. Nothing can shake us. No matter, like a Prahlad got so much troubles, Haridas Thakur was beaten in so many ways, market so much torture, but they never gave up their service to Krishna. It's that faith, Nishtha. Then Ruchi, one develops a great taste. Ruchi, then Asakti, then one's attachment to Krishna becomes more and more condensed. Now we have attraction for Krishna, but not so much. We still have to work upon increasing we have many other alternative attractions. If you're really attraction, then we'll be able to get up every day early in the morning. We're able to chant very, very nicely, more and more. So we're practicing. All of you are doing very nicely. So we're practicing. That means we're sadhaka. So we're not yet fully reached. So asakti. And then comes Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, then comes Bhava. Bhava means once have a great feelings and then love for Krishna. Then Bhava, then there is Mahabhava, Prema. Of course, Mahabhava is not mentioned there in the stage, but there are sub-stage in that. So Bhava and then Prema. Prema is a love of God, final, ultimate. In that also there are a lot of divisions. These are the different platforms, right? So when we read, especially from the books, Krishna books, and then dealings of the Gopis with Krishna, right? So people get attracted to these affairs. Why? Because they identify that I am Krishna and the Gopis are my girlfriend. Then that is very, very polluting. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, they'll directly jump to the prema stage, Prabhu.
So how can, if you directly jump, then you'll fall down only then. One boy recently called me just 2 days back, and he was watching some Bhagavad discourses. And then he said, when I came to read about the 10th canto description, then I was feeling a lot of disturbance. How can Krishna do these things? Then I said, first of all, from where you heard? He told from YouTube. I said, YouTube is not a teacher. YouTube will show anything and all. How to know that whether it is really proper or not? So he heard from some other person who is not authorized also. And then he did not present it properly. Only just few 7-8 topics or few topics, and then directly about Krishna's dealings with the cowherd girls. So it's so impure then if you hear in that way. So we have to develop our faith first. Do our sadhana very, very nicely. And do our chanting, then purify our heart, then we can appreciate the love for the Gopis and things. So Uddhava, he's so learned. right? What do you think Uddhava is? Isn't he so learned? That's why Krishna, he's close to Krishna. But even Uddhava could not fathom the love of the gopis, how much they have for Krishna. Then what to speak of the people like us? So once Srila Prabhupada was called he was visiting Chennai, South India when he was traveling. So he went to Chennai. And one of the family had hosted Prabhupada and all the disciples in their home. So in that home, that lady was asking, Swamiji, can you narrate about Krishna's Rasa Lila episodes? Then the Prabhupada said, Prabhupada was not speaking. He started telling other things. No, we want to hear that episodes, Prabhupada. They were asking, Swamiji, can you narrate? Right. So she was asking again and again. Then finally Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada said, you might be qualified to hear about Krishna's Rasa Lila episodes, but I am not qualified to speak. So if Prabhupada can speak this, of course, Prabhupada is a pure devotee. He can speak also, but then he knows audience is not proper. They should know first Krishna's greatness. Then they can appreciate Krishna's. Remember that we said, na? From greatness, then we can appreciate later Krishna's sweetness. Krishna's so first one should, of course, every activity of Krishna is a sweet only, whether he kills the demon, whether he shows universal form, or whether he have the reciprocations with his devotees in Vrindavan, all are sweet only. But then point is, our mind is contaminated, our mind is, we have anarthas in our heart. So then with those things we try to see, then that's why the change will not come. So yeah, our Joshi Pro is writing what? Shukdev Goswami say foolish people go to Prema Leelas of Krishna and Gopis. Yeah.
Directly, Prabhuji.
Yeah, directly, yes. So it's not a good thing. So this Mahabhava is very, very high. We cannot even fathom also. Right. So that's what Uddhava was also stunned. Yeah, like one cannot go to Vrindavan by train. Yeah. Yeah, good. He had brought a message in writing from Krishna, and now he wanted to present it before the gopis, just to pacify them. So he said, my dear gopis, your mission of human life is now successful. This is his first glorification. Okay, what is the mission of our human life? Let us hear from Manvik Prabhu. Manvik Prabhu, you are there? Just wait. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
What is the goal of our human life? What is the mission of our human life? Yes.
Prabhuji, go back home.
Yes. Yeah, correct. What is it?
Back to Godhead, Prabhuji.
Go back home, back to God. Correct. Yeah.
Prabhuji, can I say?
Yes.
Prabhuji, when we are close to the death, we should remember Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Ante Narayana Smriti. Go back home, back to God. Remember Krishna. Know about Krishna. That's the human purpose. So that's why Uddhava certified. Gopis, all of you are successfully, your human mission is successful. Right. So we are also human. And then somehow we don't know when our end will be there. So we should, that's why do whatever we are doing right now, do very, very nicely. So that at least whatever time we have with us, we'll be able to justify properly. You are all wonderful devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you are eligible to be worshipped by all kinds of people. You are worshipable throughout the three worlds. Which are these three worlds? India, Pakistan, America. Which are these three worlds? You are worshipable throughout the three worlds.
Earth, heaven and hell.
Heaven and earth.
Yeah, yes. Basically, anyone remember where else this line comes in our prayers? Every day we sing this similar line. The glorifying, your glories are being sung in all the three worlds, three planetary systems. Anyone knows? I doubt whether you know those prayers, but you might have heard about.
Prabhuji, that Brahma one, that.
No, every day we sing Guru Puja. How many of you know Guru Puja prayers? We sing Guru Puja.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Guru Puja is done for whom?
You can say the first some words of Guru Puja.
Prabhuji, Brahma Samhita.
No, not Brahma Samhita. Guru Puja, every day in our temple we do Guru Puja. How many of you know we do Guru Puja for whom? Every day we do Guru Puja. That's program of that slot is called.
Prabhupada and
Yeah.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, only Prabhupada. Yeah, yes, exclude. Yeah. So Divyesh Prabhu, what you are saying, Samsara Dava, that is 4:30 program. That is we worship in the altar directly, and the Guru Parampara start with our spiritual master, then Prabhupada, and then the deities. Like that puja, that is Samsara Dava, that is also Guru Puja. That is worship to spiritual master. But at 7:30, after the Shringar Darshan opens, then exclusive worship is done for Srila Prabhupada, because he is a founder Acharya of our ISKCON society. So he's been worshipped exclusively. So in that song, one of the line comes. That prayer starts with Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sarma. Like that song starts.
Guru Charana.
Yeah. So one of the line in that song comes Ebe Yash Gushu Tribhuvana. Ebe Yash. Yash
Last
yeah.
paragraph.
Yeah, yes, correct. Last paragraph. So Ebe Yash Gushuk Tribhuvana. Ebe Yash means fame. Gushuk means Ghoshana Karna. What is meaning by Ghoshana? Hindi, I mean, Ghoshana Karna.
Announcement.
Announcement.
Order.
Yeah, order, give order, or to be more precise, yeah, announcing. Announcement. There is announcement for all of you, please hear. Like that announcement. So the fame of your is being announced in which all places? Ebe Yash Gushuk Tribhuvana, in all three planetary systems for spiritual master. So spiritual master is very dear to, he is a representative of mercy of Radharani, and that's what Uddhava is also glorifying. The Gopis, you have been worshipable in all three planetary system now. So in that connection, I remembered that Prabhupada's Guru Puja also we see. Why they are glorified? Not because they have a lot of knowledge, they're a lot of beautiful, or they're a lot of intelligent, or they're very rich. No, because your minds are wonderfully absorbed in the thought of Vasudev or Krishna. So here comes a very, very important point. If you want to become famous, like everyone want to become famous, isn't it? Right? Everyone want to know, oh, everyone should know about me. Everyone should, like, let's say people know about the rich people, or let's say in the past we had a Gandhi or Shivaji, great people, famous people, or maybe modern cricket stars, Bollywood stars. I mean, good number of people knows them. All world will not know. But if you want to have the fame in all three worlds, not only in our home, in our locality, in our school, in our city, in our district, in our state, in our country, in our planet, all three planetary systems, you want to become famous, here is a secret. Who understood? How can we become famous in all three planetary systems?
Prabhuji chant Hare Krishna.
Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, by becoming Krishna conscious, by becoming a devotee of Krishna. And that's what I was hearing in one of the lecture our teacher was mentioning. As soon as Brahmaji sees that this living entity, he started chanting Hare Krishna every day. He's worshipping Krishna now, and he's following the pure devotees like Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara he's following. Immediately Brahmaji starts making a garland. So that this living entity will come, he should be glorified. And then Brahmaji announces to all, now there is a great devotee here. And he's going to go back home, back to Godhead now. So he starts preparing a garland. So this is a secret. People try so many ways to become famous in the world, isn't it? They want to become a Bollywood star, Hollywood stars, or maybe the rich man, or whatever various ways, maybe very, very intelligent in exams or things. But these things will come, will get washed away with the time. It will remain only history. Nobody will bother. Now, Gandhi is known as a historical figure, but nobody much takes kind of interest, or eventually over the years, let's say maybe in a few 100 years or 1,000 years, his name will be known. But once Kali Yuga ends, what will happen? Gone. Things are lost. But this episode happened in Dwapar Yuga, and the Gopis are eternal associates of the Lord. But still today in the histories or so, everyone appreciates, worships, glorifies. So in worldly sense, they may not be, nobody may know. Like let's say those who are not devotees, they may not know who are the gopis, who is Uddhava. So Bhagavatam says, if we have a culture of living like animals, then we'll become famous in animal society. One will be glorified by dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. There is one verse in Bhagavatam it says. So we want to become famous in which society, that matters. Like let's say in the thief society, they will glorify who is a dacoit, who is a very good murderer or cheater or things. He will become famous in a thief society. But in a social status, in a proper public way, he will be punished. He will be infamous. Same way in the society of Devatas, right? So who does very nice sense gratification, they don't consider him civilized person. They consider him only as an animal only. Right? Devatas, they feel very sorry. He got a human life in a Bharatavarsha in the such nice era of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's period, but still is not chanting and still is not practicing. Then how is, what is this? We may show a lot of skills and talents, but if you're not becoming devotees, then we don't become famous in the eyes of Devatas. And Krishna to impress, that's a far off thing there. But then if you develop a very good absorption, and then as it is written here, right? Why? Uddhava is telling, because your minds are wonderfully absorbed in the thought of Vasudeva or Krishna. So there is a one Hindi saying, with that we'll end our today's discussion. If we start thinking about Krishna, Krishna starts thinking about us. But if we are busy with our own work, then Krishna is also busy with his own work. There is a Hindi, there is a famous saying for this. Jab hum Bhagwan ke naam mein, to Bhagwan, there is some line is there for that. Agar hum apne kaam mein, to Bhagwan unke dhaam mein. Like that, there is a saying. You understood, Shubham Prabhu? Hindi, I mean. So, Krishna takes interest based on how much we take interest in Krishna. So we want to become famous in the eyes of devotees, and then the Krishna and all the devotees and all the good personalities in the spiritual world. Then we have to develop this wonderful quality. What Uddhava is appreciating in the eyes of about the Gopis. And that's what he goes on glorifying, how you are so great. You have surpassed all the rituals and everything. So those details we'll read in the tomorrow's meeting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today's most important points we discussed. What is the state of Mahabhav? Not directly jump into the episodes of Krishna with the Gopis and all this. That's not they're most pure. But then if we are not pure, then those things will make us, our mind will be disturbed. We'll get the wrong things then we'll leave it. We'll not be able to develop proper practice. So, but that's what we have to go with. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, keep always association of devotees. Hearing, like that's what in the beginning also we said, Shravanam, Kirtanam, then Smaranam will come. And then another lesson what we discussed today. Just now we completed. No? What lesson we?
Lord.
Sorry.
To remember Krishna.
To remember Krishna. Then for what purpose? Then how? What is the result of that?
If we want to become famous in all
Krishna
three
will
worlds,
remember us.
then we have
Prabhuji, Krishna will remember us.
Yeah, Krishna will remember us. We'll become really famous. Of course, devotee doesn't desire to become famous. He just wants to remain as a servant of servant. He doesn't want name, fame, glory. He wants Krishna's name, fame, glory. He wants his spiritual master and the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada's name, fame, and glory.
To be famous.
Yeah, to be famous. So that's why one of our spiritual masters were hearing. He was presenting. Indians have failed in their duties. What is that duty Indians have failed?
propagate Krishna consciousness in whole world.
Propagating
every
Krishna
village.
consciousness. Yeah, propagating Krishna consciousness, we have failed. That's why whole world there are so much problems and troubles. We cannot blame because they are Western people, they are godless. No, they are godless. That's why they are in a Western world. But it is our duty, because we have got Krishna consciousness, we practice nicely and share with others. So we have failed in that duty. But then our spiritual master was mentioning, we can really get back the Indian glory when we make Srila Prabhupada famous. If we are not making Srila Prabhupada famous, then India is not going to revive its glory in a true sense. Right. So we went to Calcutta. With that, we'll stop. Time is over. We had gone to Calcutta, 1965. Prabhupada boarded Jalduta. So 2015 marks the Golden Jubilee, 50 years of celebration of Prabhupada's boarding Jalduta. So there was a Jaldut festival. Very, very powerful. Our ISKCON got 3 Guinness Book of World Records. The devotees from more than 120 countries, they came. Even we don't know also those countries, from those countries. We were in a guest reception service there.
Prabhuji, one coin is also made in Prabhupada, 120.
Yeah, that is recent time. Now this year it was made 125th year, but that year. So then in that talk, the temple president there, he was addressing us. Why we have this festival? He was telling, you go on a Calcutta street, you ask any people, do you know about Vivekananda? Everyone will say yes. You ask them, do you know about Rabindranath Tagore? Everyone will say yes. Do you know about what is her name, Mother Teresa? They will say yes. You ask them, do you know about Srila Prabhupada? Very, very few people. Nobody knows about Srila Prabhupada. So that devotee was telling, president there, he was giving us the orientation about services. He was telling, now this Jalduta festival is a purpose is what? To make Srila Prabhupada famous. It is such an unfortunate thing, such a great personality, but nobody knows. Like now, slowly, it's the things that have been happening. Prime Minister also glorified Srila Prabhupada, and then the coin was inaugurated. But at least we can really become famous by making our Guru Parampara and then the Supreme Lord famous. Whether we become famous or not, that's not an interest. But then in the eyes of Krishna, we can really become good, provided we follow very, very nicely. Thank you all very much for joining and having all of your good association. Let us end with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.